Welcome back into a Rose Ed FC. Myself, Ed Cavalier, and it's a big warm welcome to Tennis's own Adam Peacock. Welcome, Adam.
Ed, great to be here.
And all the way from the UK, a man whose commitment to tennis is not that well known, but we will find out over the next little bit. James Dodd, welcome aboard.
Very good morning, very good evening. Like the Unify League, nobody wants us. We don't know how we're going to make money, but we are back again.
Okay. I hope we're going to talk about that today because the Super League is back. It's now called the Unify League. I don't know how you start a competition called Unify when the only reason you've got it is because of a court order against the people who currently organise the competitions. But hey, whatever. So we're all going to pick some big stories from this week in football. Who would like to kick off?
I just want to know who we're brought to by this week. Is it by the Unify League? That's who our official sponsor is
this week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking. Yes, this week we are brought to you by our good friends at the Remaining Barley Nine. Great to have them back and looking forward to seeing them as part of the, they're going around in the Hiluxes at the AFL Grand Final. So it's going to be the retired players and the remaining members of the Barley Nine. So a big shout out to them. It's great to have them back.
Beautiful redemption story.
Isn't it? It's so true. Long may their telly movies reign. I mean, I don't think we've had enough telly movies about Barley tragedies myself, but I'm in discussions with Stan, and I reckon I can get a couple more over the line. So big thanks to them. Yeah.
So you know somebody can help you as well.
Well, yeah. Oh, I forgot you're in there. You're in. Yeah, we go. Can you tell them from me, Stan? Right, good people.
Here we
I've
go.
met with them. Good people. Yeah. Can you tell them from me?
This could get me sacked.
No, it's all me. The Christmas movies are not working. We got to go back to the drawing board and find some jokes or some Christmas, because at the moment, we don't have either.
No, my 8-year-old daughter is presently downstairs watching a dog movie which has nothing to do with Christmas, so that might tell you about the... It stars Harrison Ford, though, so he's going well.
Harrison Ford in a
going.
dog movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true.
Does he voice the dog?
No, he's hauling a dog that's not very well across snow last I looked. So anyway.
You've mistaken this. You think your daughter's watching Operation Jumbo Drop and you just don't know what it hang on. You start the topic and I'm going to do this because there is no chance that is the case.
James, you can go first. You got the best topic this week.
Okay, so
stand corrected. Call of the Wild 2020, starring Harrison Ford, and what looks to either be a Saint Bernard or Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City.
It's always a Saint Bernard at Christmas, isn't it? Those poor things, so typecast.
Yeah, they're typecast, and goodness knows we're going to lose a few of them when we shoot this film, but whatever.
Okay,
James,
so
the football.
Having been in, this is a not controversial one, but I've seen a bit of discourse since this unfolded at the weekend. The reaction to the Brisbane Roar manager, Ruben Zadkovich, being caught essentially on camera telling his players to go down, pretending to be injured, to buy some time at the end of a game.
Yeah.
Now, I listened to a few pods, and I respect a lot of the people that I've heard talk about it, and there is a undercurrent or an attitude there that's this shouldn't happen in Australia. This doesn't happen in Australian football. This isn't us.
Yeah.
Having grown up in the country that I'm currently on holiday in for 27 years, this happens every single game across every league, from non-league Division South Regional 4 to the Premier League. It happens in Italy, it happens in Spain and America, all over South America, basically everywhere that's played football. Players do things to manage the game. They time waste. They come up with inventive ways every single week to buy time, to kill the game, to slow things down when it's going against them. So in preparation for this, I spoke to 2 players who have played across Europe, still playing, both of them. And I asked them, essentially, have you ever been told as a player to manage the game, deliberately go down feigning injury, to buy yourself some time when it's going against you? And they both said yes, absolutely. One player gave me a whole list of stories from when he was playing in the lower leagues in England, so Championship and League One. So the things that he encountered when he was playing against one manager, which was Graham Wesley, who's quite notorious in English football for being, a bit madcap and having some inventive ideas. So he said when this team would score a goal, some of their players would deliberately leave their shin pads in the far corner when they were celebrating a goal. So the referee then stopped the game because he realised they didn't have shin pads on. They'd have to go and get their shin pads.
That's pretty good. Yep, that's pretty good. Yep.
Slowing the game down.
Yep,
Ruining the momentum that another team may have, managing the game. Some players, when they were caught on the foot, would deliberately take their boot off to slow the game down, to show the referee they've been caught. Therefore, it takes longer to restart the match.
Yeah, that's good.
He said players, and he was himself, goalkeepers would take their glove off to take a drink of water behind the goal. So then they have to take longer to put their glove back on.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And we got onto the topic of, I showed this player the clip of the Zakovic stuff in the second half in particular of Brisbane against the Wanderers. And he said that there's a very good chance that those players would have had a meeting before that game to address this. A team that is, crisis is probably is a strong word, but a team that's had a bad start to the season and is battling. They're battling for points. They're battling just to get confidence. They're battling under their coach.
They're battling relic. Oh no, sorry.
Well, yeah. Let's open that can of worms. So they are just they're battling at the moment.
He's
so they're
pointing
doing
his hamstring. So this is what I can find, and then he's pointing at his watch. Okay, and then Brandon Borrello sort of kicked it up because he said he's sort of okay. There we go. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Looks to be the case.
So everything that Ruben Zakovic said was, and then he kind of deflected afterwards in the post-match press conference. He said, well, listen, if I had the likes of Juan Mata and Marcos Antonsson to bring off, then maybe it wouldn't be in a position where I needed to do these things. People call it dark arts. People call it, ruining the game, whatever it may be. But this player said to me, he's like, there's a really good chance these players would have had a meeting before, and they said, right, if you are in this position, do what you need to do to slow the game down. I know players that have deliberately gone down when the game is going against them, and then all of a sudden, that player receives treatment and the rest of the players are on the sideline talking to the head coach, getting some in-game coaching. Arsenal do it all the time under Mikel Arteta. So to have this narrative that, this isn't Australian, this isn't what we do, that's football. It happens everywhere. And I feel as though, like, being in England at the moment where, you get in the back of a cab in London, the cab driver talks to you about football.
Really?
Back page of every single paper, it's football. You turn on the radio, it's football. It's everything football.
Great.
I don't know whether there's a kind of a lost in translation thing, or because of the battling of, I remember when I first heard the term milking or staging or whatever, it was for AFL players, and the fans are kicking off because they're pretending to be and they're going down to buy time or to buy a foul or whatever it may be.
Diving, it's cheating. Yeah,
diving. Yeah,
it's diving in football, but it's staging. It's a much nicer word in AFL.
Yeah, and I don't know whether this is me missing or whether you both have grown up with this attitude of that people think that's not an Australian thing to do, even though football is not an Australian game. Football is a world game, isn't it? I don't know whether I'm missing that, but I just got a little bit annoyed this week when I saw the analysis around it going, this isn't right, this isn't what we need. Reality is, when a home team does it, nobody gives a shit because you don't hear the crowd booing and telling the ref to hurry up when a player decides to change the throw-in take or they walk slow to take a corner.
I love that one.
It happens every single game, and I just don't understand why there was this exception to the rule that, we can't be doing that.
Ed, you watch a lot of Serie A. They know how to set a tempo in a game, don't you? Is this a regular occurrence in your beloved Italian league?
I reckon Italy's backed away. I think they honestly have. I think it's faster. It's so. Serie A is, every game is genuinely competitive. I think that the gap between like Inter and and my lot Inter, probably got the best midfield in the world, and the team's way down. Like Como, who best story this week was the guy who scored, and he'd scored in all 4-5 divisions for Como, and then he got to score this goal in front of Keira Knightley, which was a bit of fun. But
Love Actually,
I think but they are in
you
Italy
do the
now.
Signs and everything in front of the goal scorer.
God, that guy's such a dork.
Guess what? I'm stalking you.
So they don't. So you'll be right. So they but they do it heaps less these days. There's so much less of it in Serie A. It's so funny because they think they're in the game. Most times, like even if because there's so many close, it's so close, and so many teams now play like kind of fast, like Atalanta and all these other teams, even Genoa, who suck, but they still really have a go. So it's so much less in Italy than it used to be. It's an interesting comparison to make because they're sort of known for it, and I reckon it's so much less.
Yeah, and South America, they are very good at it. I'll say that. I'm not being disrespectful at all. I love the World Cup when they just said, bugger it. We're going to have 19 minutes of extra time in the first, of
Yeah,
injury time in the first round of games. By
Yeah.
the time they got to the third round of pool games, it was down to 7 because everyone realised, well, there's no point in us doing this because we're going to play the minutes anyway.
So if you it's the what is it? The 10 minutes at halftime, definitely 1 minute at the end of the game, or one of the. It's either one or the other. They don't do both. 1 minute at halftime. I had a manager say to me, "Yeah, well, we know it's probably going to be 2 minutes at halftime, and then at the end of the game, it could be anything up to 14. So you may as well do your time wasting in the first half because they don't put it on.
I've
It
got
doesn't work, does it? It doesn't.
No.
I don't think adding that time on works because it still allows teams to just break the game up. If the only way to stop it is to book people.
Yeah, it becomes a game in 10-minute segments, which annoys the hell out of some managers who have their players conditioned to play for 45 minutes straight at a high tempo. James, I've got a counteractive view kind of yours that, and I don't know what kind of pressure Ruben Zadkovic is under, any kind of manager is what kind of pressure they're under, relegation or no relegation, for their job security. He might have been told, you've got to get something out of this game, otherwise you're looking a bit dodgy here, Rubes. But I just look at it and I watched that game, and they've got 3 really young, dynamic players up front, 2 in particular, Tommy Waddingham and Jacob Brissett, who one day very soon could be worth some pretty good transfer money. I can't get through my head in a non-relegation league that you are not pushing to go forward with a player like Jay O'Shea. For those listening around, that this is a very experienced midfielder who doesn't. If you don't know the A-League, he's one of the A-League's best players.
Yeah.
Why he wouldn't instruct his players to try and make a very nervous Western Sydney Wanderers side even more nervous by giving the ball to these guys and create something, and never know. They might score the glorious game-winning goal, and that'll go to my point about data. It looks good on the data sheet for prospective buyers of these young players, and everyone wins. Instead, you go the negative, insular, or no, I'm worried about what might happen methodology, which then everyone derides. I don't get it from the point of view that you had a bit more to gain than you thought you did. That's all.
I think so. I do definitely. I can buy into that because, like you touched on before, with no relegation, this kind of feels as though the only thing Ruben would say, the only thing to lose is my job, really, and then the players. But then I suppose when you look at them this year, I have seen Brisbane as a team that just has no confidence. I spoke to Ruben Zadkovic actually after the game in the Unite round where they got beaten by Adelaide, and he said defensively there's no confidence. Now that comes from coaching and stuff like that, but if you're getting beaten and you know you were, God, what were they, 2 minutes, 90 seconds away from becoming the worst ever A-League team to start a season when they drew with MacArthur a few weeks ago. So I just think maybe that was probably his, like you said, his standpoint was, if we can get a point, or maybe he'd been said, look, you need to get something from this game, otherwise we're going to have some difficult conversations. I'm not sure. I just thought the reaction to it was very...
God, who'd be a manager?
You've only seen it because it's been put right in front of you, and you've seen Ruben Zadkovic tapping his hamstring saying, Tabby's watch, go down. If you pay close attention, this happens every single game in every single country around the world.
It was like seeing someone get a parking ticket. You know it happens everywhere, but to actually see it, it's really
it's confronting. Yeah, that's all right. Excellent. I think we've solved that. I think the only solution is to start time wasting from minute 1 in the match and have a camera on the coach cam. Coach cam in a box. I've been calling for this. People love that type of thing. If you've got, especially like 2 combustible managers, why wouldn't you? A little coach cam, little screen coach cam. People would like that.
Slightly uneasy if Joachim Löw came back into fashion and he can get whatever he gets up to. But apart from that, Ed, I totally agree that these guys are put through the ringer.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Peacock.
Data. It sounds like a really boring subject, but it's actually under the layer of football that we watch and enjoy every weekend. It is so prevalent in football. Every day I'm learning at the moment more and more about it, about how deep the tentacles of data have reached in how a football club and how football is run. It's extraordinary. I've got someone I know recently who was asked to kind of prove themselves in a physical sense for prospective suitors in various parts of the world, and they were said, you've got to go and do a VALD test. You know what a VALD test? Any idea what that is?
What was were the letters?
I don't think it's an acronym. It was just maybe named after Tommy Vold or someone like that, or
Vold,
Vlad Vold or something. I don't know the person who invented it.
If you can somehow defeat evil wizard. That's Voldemort. Sorry, that's a different. That's a different. No, I
John Joe
Vold.
Shelby.
Don't know. Go. What's your Vold?
Nah, go on.
Vold test is where you test your hamstring strength, your groin strength, your plyometric ability off strength plates and how much air time you get, and a 30-meter speed test, or a 10 or a 20-meter speed test.
Wow.
So it's a whole. It's a
Is
little.
that the one where the jump where they have to hands on their hips, for people who are listening to this rather than watching us on 3 boxes on the screen, where they have to put their hands on their hips and jump kind of flat-footed up in the air and land?
Flat-footed, one-legged, as quick as you can, as high as you can, all of those different things. And you get a whole big data set. And that basically, it feels like almost these days it's a bit of a passport to to football, because now teams aren't, oh, geez, he's got a nice touch. And I watched a really interesting piece from the Financial Times who delved into
It's a bit of fun.
what data means to football at the moment. It was done a couple of weeks ago, and they were testing, they're doing all these data tests on 14-year-olds in Burnley. And everyone's in on it now. And there was this guy from a company saying, yes, we can predict and do this and do that. And I'm like, hang on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Football is a sport in which there's a lot of feeling and emotion attached to it.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that on the eye is as important, if not more important than anything else.
Yeah, here we go.
Where
This
do you
is the
guys sit?
one. This is the one. Here's Vold, right? So this is their Vold performance. So there it is. Hands on hips doing his jump. This fellow, here he is. I mean, and then, so we come down here and it's 90% of all major league franchises, all 5, 20 Premier League teams. Well, that's all of them, isn't it? Or do they mean over the 200 plus? So this is almost everyone, isn't it? 100 national sporting organisations, 50 pluck a duck. I mean, they've got everyone here. Just
Aussie ostrich.
all the genuine high performers. Right. I see.
So
I mean,
with
what
this,
is that? I mean, I go to a
it?
club where you have to wear a mask and I pay for that machine.
you hang through the middle segment.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched that one, which is nice. But they that. So look at that.
With this though, actually, so that's your data set that you get, and it is instructional a lot, because they can then check where you're imbalanced. So then you can do strength exercise to protect against injury. So I get this test, yes, but to start data testing 14-year-olds when they're nowhere near fully grown, when clubs are now using this kind of information for greater purpose than the look of a player's imagination on a pitch or seeing round corners, which very few players can do, just blows my mind. I mean, there's a classic debate, James in particular. You see the Liverpool number 9s that they've had in the last 6-7 years. So you've gone from Roberto Firmino to Darwin Núñez. Now, Liverpool were high up in the appreciation of data and breaking it all down. And interestingly enough, their former head of data science or whatever it was said, we're not sure Darwin Núñez suits this style of football that we want to play, because Bobby Firmino was so good for what Liverpool needed, with Sadio Mane one side, with Mo Salah on the other side, and various other players around. And then you go to a player like Darwin Núñez, who I bet $1 million on the Vold test and various other things would have absolutely excelled, because he's a physical beast. But he doesn't have the appreciation for space that a guy like Bobby Firmino does, that I don't think there's a data set that can come up with
I
a
reckon
measurement.
It would be XC, expected chaos.
Yeah.
And that
So
would
we're
be
gonna say
Darwin
someone else
Núñez.
then.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Well, that's a very, you're right. We are going to end up with one style of player, not type, style.
Yeah.
We are going to end up with one style of player. But
Super soldiers. That's what they're essentially trying to.
now we're
They're
getting
trying to
somewhere.
mold, aren't they? They're trying to mold people that are like the perfect specimen of hamstring. This is the hamstring you must have. This is the calf muscles that you need. Like, this is the athletic profile you have to have. It feels as though that's the way it's going, so that they can.
There's various ways that it's being used. Like the Vold test, I think, is very, very good for those things. Like, okay, wow, this has shown up that your more right foot dominant than left, and you got to be careful because you're putting your left groin under all kinds of pressure. You got to fix it. You got to kind of balance yourself up. That's a fantastic way to use it, and it's a good, like, you know, your speed test. They break it down into 10-meter segments to say, okay, you're really quick off the mark, or in your 20 to 30-meter segment, you're really starting to motor. So maybe you need to work on your explosive strength and everything. But there's other data that's available, like through AI companies. I'm just looking for the message here from a guy I know quite well, Scott Miller, who used to coach here in the A-League Newcastle Jets. Scott is now involved in an AI company, iReal AI, and he's explained it to me that it's not like just crunching data for data's sake. He's actually come up with a program which helps coaches filter through the use of AI all the data that they have. Because let's face it, football players are now GPS every moment they break from a jog up. Sleep data, everything is like, you know, they've got information on their entire lives. It's one big Truman Show, basically. So when the coach gets all that data, he's like, what on earth am I going to do with all this, because there's so much of it? And then the Scott's company has kind of come up with this thing across all sport where the coach can, through AI, ask, okay, Mo Salah, how many high-speed meters in that game? I just want to know what he did against his average, for instance. And it breaks it down for him. It finds it quickly. It's a lot more resource time saved, so then you can spend more time with the actual football. So that in a sense is good, but just the other way about measuring footballers, I'm a little worried for the future.
So the whole thing is about overload, right? So Rodri goes down, he complains about overload, he goes down, conspiracy theories abound, and then Man City fall apart. So you go, all right, so are these companies going to get to the point where they're going to be able to tell you how many games per year, based on their injury profile history and things like that, how many games per year you can expect, like have a budget of players. So you get your squad and then you have a budget of games that you can play them in the safe zone. Surely that's where they're headed.
Yeah, it's like a roster, isn't it?
Yeah,
you end up building out a proper roster, like American sport. Yeah,
yes,
and it's Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger said back in the day, didn't he, when he used to talk about players being in the red zone.
There you go.
And then he'd still play them anyway and get injured. But then that's what it was. It feels like he was already discussing that, and it now feels as like they are going to get to the stage where Ed's absolutely right, where they can go, right, your hamstring has got, let's say 100 minutes.
Yes.
You've got 100 minutes, allowing for injury time and stoppage time and stuff like that this year. You have to manage those properly.
I think sports science have also found through data manipulation, or not manipulation, but data learnings, that a certain type of bone structure is more susceptible to an ACL. And they're doing all kinds of in-depth analysis of why women footballers have so many more ACLs, and whether it's to do with the menstrual cycle, or is it the body composition, or whatever. They're looking into everything. They haven't found an answer yet, but
I think you'll find God was very clear. Just don't listen to the snake and don't eat the apple. And she, couldn't help herself, and that's her original sin, and she has to keep dealing with it. And also to all womanhood. And I think you'll find it's all there in black and white. It's pretty clear.
But on James's team, Arsenal, without question, they've become set piece, not centric, but they've become very good at set pieces, especially in an attacking sense. That would have come up through some kind of data spread that they found a hole in, and then they said, if we can attack here and attack here, these teams. But
is that also referee analysis? Because they just cheat. Like, it's just you stand on the goalkeeper and I'll be tall. Like, that's it. And then you do some blocking, and then the refereeing has to catch up. Like AI referee AI. Like, how have the refs not got together and gone, all right, everyone, let's just watch this Arsenal corner. All right, he's standing on the goalie, and now that's a block, and he's tall. Great, we're going to call that. How have they not done that yet? Because they want them to win the league.
Calm down, conspiracy king. I will say that I did laugh at this tweet that came out the other day, James, that said it's all very well and nice that Arsenal have a set piece coach, but how about an open play coach?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you know who started this? Yeah, that's right. Okay, I was hoping you'd bring this up, because the originators of this are AC Milan, and it wasn't AI that they had a dentist. So do you guys remember this? Aston Villa, Ali Sissoko reveals bad teeth were to blame for his failed move to AC Milan, right? So they had agreed £12 million fee, and then they went to the dentist, and they said no, because they had... Do you guys remember the AC Milan dentist, this story?
No.
So he said...
No.
So they said, no, you can't. No for you, Ali Sissoko. You can't come because of these teeth were too bad. That's how David... Here we go. That extends players' careers. This is the best story. They hid this story for as long as they possibly could. Because remember, there was that year where their backline, everyone was 40. There was that one year, Costa Corda, Maldini, I'm forgetting the others, the goalie, everyone was 40. And then Beckham went there and got extra years. Ronaldinho went there and got extra years. And they had the oldest squad in the world, and they were playing amazingly. And someone finally let the cat out of the bag that they had a dentist. And when you first signed for Milan, the first thing you did was go no other medical. You went straight to this dentist. And so Beckham went there. I heard him tell a story once. He went there, and he had that odd running style. He sort of shuffled on his hips from side to side, and he would talk like that because he had bad teeth. He didn't want to show his. This is before everyone had veneers at the age of 16, and he went there, and the first thing he went to the dentist, and they went, run, and he ran, and he goes, okay, cool, your teeth. He goes, what? He goes, you got back pain. He goes, no, I don't. He goes, just be honest, you got back pain. He goes, I've played with it my whole life. He goes, okay, no worries. They sit him down. One comes out, rearrange, plays until he's 38. Never back pain again.
Yeah.
Yep. I promise you. I could do this all day. The AC Milan dentistry stories like that one are legendary, but just no one cared. It was the best kept secret in football for years. They had the oldest squad. They guys, they were known for it. Their players played for eternity.
Jeez, and is that why Ronaldinho went, with the hope of getting a good dentist?
That's why I had to get rid of him, mate. What can we do here?
Not miracle workers, mate.
Yeah, yes.
I did always think, though, to be fair, I'm pleased that there is an explanation for it, because I think there were a lot of people in world football that were always quite sceptical that AC Milan had this way of getting these older players to never get injured, to carry on playing through the certain levels that people didn't think they could.
Yeah.
But it was very true, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but I remember Arsene Wenger had a thing about having players having their wisdom teeth removed. Because
he got it from them. He got it from AC.
Yeah.
They all took it from AC. They all got it from AC because they were the first ones to do it.
And now Turkey are the kings of teeth.
Yeah, they are.
Said,
everyone's moving to Turkey.
Talking of Turkey, I was in Harrods on Monday having a look around, and I walked past Jose Mourinho.
What?
Yeah, I literally brushed shoulders with him as he walked the other way, and I thought, you do a double take and you think, is that? And it was him.
What was he doing?
I assume he was. They were on the expensive floor as well. We were waiting for the lift.
There?
Yeah, we were there by chance. We were waiting for the lift with the pushchair to go down, and then I saw, I was like, oh, it's Jose Mourinho.
Who is he with?
The missus. Yeah. I think it was
Christmas
very much,
shopping.
what do you want for Christmas? Here's the card.
Was it? It was a bit of, wow. How did he smell?
He looked, but Jose has this thing, he can either look $1 million, or he looks like he did when he was on the touchline that day at Anfield with Chelsea. Yeah, he looked
Bag
like
of
that.
rags.
He had the sort of the baseball cap on,
Put the bins out,
tracksuit, gilet. Yeah, he was dishevelled, Jose.
Jeez, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. Michael Mifsud was my Uber driver yesterday, so that was exciting.
He was not. Was he? Did you give him a 5-star?
He's just surprised he could finish the trip. All right, so we are
You missed all that, James, didn't you? You got to the country too late. You missed that whole...
I remember Michael Mifsud when he was at Coventry, though, when he was here.
Well, I'm here to tell you that he basically formed the basis of a rundown of a television show for an entire year.
Yeah,
down here.
We got years out of that bloke because he was the Maltese Messi. Here he comes. You're never going to believe this dude. Here he comes, and it was just... They signed for Melbourne Heart, and then they transitioned to Melbourne City. No, we're keeping Mifsud. We believe in him. No dice, baby. No dice. It was the best.
Poor guy.
All right, here we go. Let's finish with my grab bag. Here comes the grab bag. So we're going to talk about the Unify League. Let's just quickly talk about the Unify League. So A22, everyone's favourite company. The Unify League would see 96 clubs take part in the men's competition in 4 leagues. The top 2 leagues are Star and Gold. I would have thought Gold was better than Star, but anyway, whatever. Would each include 16 clubs divided into groups of 8. The Blue and the Union Leagues would host 32 clubs each, also in groups of 8. In the league stage, teams would face each other home and away in their group, and before qualifiers progress to the knockout stage, where the semi-finals and final would be one-off matches. So what they've invented there is every competition ever. How much are they being paid at A22 to come up with the revolution that is teams play each other in a league and then they're a player, then there are knockout games? And how do I get a job? Guys, are you listening to this? These people are being paid to come up with this. Someone got paid in a group, in a WhatsApp like this, probably £1,000 an hour, probably more to go, what if we call the league Star and Gold? Great. Fantastic. Sorry, you're breaking up. Sorry, my martini's arrived. I'm in Mallorca. How on earth are these people being paid to come up with this shit?
Because that's life, Ed. That's how the world works. Consultants and creatives.
How do we become that? How do we do it? It's a serious question. How can we go from sitting here talking to each other to sipping Mai Tais in Mallorca, coming up with the premise of knockout games? How do we do it?
I don't want to know. I don't know. I don't want to know the brown nosing you'd have to do to get into a position like that. No.
Well, I think brown nose is actually the lowest league in the Unified League.
16 hours away trip like Chelsea had to do last week.
Honestly. And they get pressed for this. You know what I mean? They won their court case, or they won part of their court case. Good luck to them. Come on, guys. We need an energy captain. We need a blue sky session. James, how do we get ourselves on the payroll at 8?
Well, I'm sure there's some Spanish connections that we can work, because I know that's where they're kind of based out of. But it did make me laugh actually on this, because I love that they challenged and won. As you said, they were successful in some of the challenges, weren't they, to the European Court about UEFA's rulings. And I love the fact that one of UEFA's rulings was people cannot challenge UEFA's competition.
That was the best. That deserved a Rolex. Whoever came up with, hang on guys, what if we had a rule where you can't challenge us? All right, I'm going to share the website with you guys. Let's see if there's a contact form where I can make a pitch to get a job at A22.
Or sponsors.
Yeah, here we go. A22, I'm open for it. All right, here we go. This is the look at that. They've got a ball that's spinning that looks like the globe.
They're going to broadcast it for free, I heard. But then
it's
you
free?
can pay. Yeah,
what?
But then they'll stream it for free, and then you can pay more. You can pay a subscription to not have as many ads on your feed.
Okay, so freemium model. So they've invented free-to-air television as well.
Yeah,
well, that's genius. Hang on, UEFA has lost its monopoly. Great. How do I like that? All right, stay ahead of the game. Where is the contact form? Surely there's a contact form.
Contact. About us.
About us. About us. We
something?
are full of shit.
No, nothing.
They can't
Media,
contact
top right.
Media.
Yes.
For our audio listeners, we are currently on the A22 One for All website.
Press releases? No, I don't want press releases. I want a contact form. Yes, here we go. Please enter your full name. Yes. My name is Adam Peacock.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, my name is...
Love your stand.
What's the name that who could we be hearing? My name is John
Michael.
Take
Mifsud.
a Bart Simpson one when he used to ring Moe's Tavern. So it's something like that.
Oh, I got one.
Like it.
Harvey Oswald.
What about IP Freely?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Ian Presley Freely.
I'm a patsy at jfk.org. My inquiry. Here, A22. I am a huge fan of
James, when we signed up to do this
work.
podcast, were you aware that Ed was such a conspiracy theorist?
I am a huge fan of your work.
Dug down some rabbit holes on YouTube, this guy.
Believe you came up with
lock.
the idea of a league and knockout.
Have you blocked your IP address, by the way, before you send this?
No way. Knockout games.
Okay.
I and my two friends.
Not me, by the way.
I'm going to put
Ed's
friends
coffee
in.
shop mates.
I'm going to put friends in there. I and my two friends have an idea for the low price of £1 million.
That's not Dr. Evil.
Yeah, I know. £1 million. That's hardly anything these days.
Tell you what.
How's the weather, James, in England, by the way?
Now, we're almost finished here.
No, you keep going. You're typing.
Also accept...
Is it snowing?
Saudi oil.
Yes.
Love, Lee.
Looks beautiful.
Mrs. Send. Guys, we're in. Lee Harvey Oswald's just sent A22 a beautiful message.
How many prank calls did you do in your radio career?
What?
How many prank calls did you do in your radio
None.
career?
That was one thing I refused to do. I just couldn't
Really?
get the Indian accent right.
Well, you
But,
just did one. You just did one. Bob
Well, anyway,
Lane's
guys,
one.
that should be £1 million coming in. So congrats, everybody.
To be fair, they're probably looking at that and go, million, that's nothing.
Yeah, let's
We
get
got
on
paid
board.
5 million to
Do you
come
know
up with
what?
this.
You two are out of that deal because you two poo-poo the deal. So when Mr. Oswald receives his £1 million, you two are not part of the deal.
Happy for you to have it, then.
But in all seriousness, with this
That wasn't
Unify League,
Yeah.
are we just expecting that it's going to happen? The same thing is going to happen what happened last time, where they are disruptors. This is never actually going to eventuate because of all the talk in world football at the moment of the biggest players in the game. Rodri, the current Ballon d'Or winner, has said we are
this is a
playing
replacement.
too
No.
many games.
This is not
But
this
you
is
have to
instead
opt,
of.
You have to opt in, right? And that's the whole
Yeah, I know
thing.
that,
Is that
but
you can opt in or you can play that.
They're looking at Saudi. So Saudi Arabia just bought the World Cup. They've bought the Club World Cup. All right, all good. They're just like, sweet. If they can do it, then if we just keep a bit of legal warfare, we've already had a couple of wins. So either have to get rid of us by allowing us in and giving us a slice, or we'll get enough friendly American seas owners in the various leagues around Europe to turn around and go, sorry, what does UEFA exactly do again? That's the only phrase they want is two people sitting down at a fancy restaurant and two owners say to the A22 people, we're thinking about what you said. I'm not really sure UEFA does much for us. That's the moment. That is the moment they want because as soon as they got that, yes, now we can get their own. All they want is money. They don't care. They just want a slice of whatever pie there is. So if they try and create this nonsense, they can get pie, some version of pie somewhere. That's all they want.
It's back to your point a couple of weeks ago, Ed, about the Americanization of European football. And what's Americanization? It's the lack of threat about relegation. Every closed league that
Here it
they've
is.
got. So they want fixed term returns in the biggest competition available, and that's European competition.
So I am looking forward to working with you, A22. I'm a huge supporter of whatever it is that you're pretending to do this week. All right, let's leave on the grab bag. So let's play Guess the Saudi Pro League attendance, gentlemen. So the game is Al Faya versus Al Riyadh. Guess the Saudi Pro League attentions. Al Fayed versus Al Riyadh in a stadium.
I have heard that
Holds
the Al
20,000.
Riyadh fans, the Ultras, don't travel well. They're not. They like their home ground, but away from home comforts. I will go based on last week's meager return for your figure. I will go 812.
All right, James.
Alpha, I'm going to say 290.
Whoa. This pains me to say that up, James, higher. It's in between those two figures, so higher. What if I told you that Al Riyadh was currently starring Milan Borjan, the Canadian international, and others?
They must be one of the clubs. Because am I right in saying that in that league there are 4 clubs that are
they're not one.
state-owned, aren't they?
No, they didn't get any state. No, their
So
players
these
were...
ones are you're on your own, fellas.
Yeah. Good luck, lads. These are good luck, lads. You know what I mean?
Ah, go on. What we send
600.
500 or so?
No. Come on, lower. Give up?
Yep, give up.
Yeah.
130 diehard fans.
330.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chris Smalling played.
Chris Smalling's
Chris
there.
Smalling's there.
Yeah.
Chris Smalling's there.
Yeah, because Chris Smalling went.
He went Manchester
then-
United, Roma.
Yeah.
Where?
Al Faya FC.
Whew.
And no, it actually wasn't a bad result because the capacity is 7,000. So it's almost 1% of the stadium, which is not bad. All right, we're leaving you today with the worst brawl of all time.
Really?
I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was described as a brawl. And I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, this effort from the Wolves players is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. This is not a brawl. It's not a fight. This is neither of those things. Look,
Didn't Cunha though get charged for taking on a steward?
Look. Glasses. Stealing some glasses.
Stole his glasses.
Yeah, did you see that? That was it. And then this guy, this is good. Nuri, he was trying to get away. Sweet
He
bear
was
hug from
carrying
the
on,
official.
yeah.
And then they say punched a security guard. Wait for it.
So that's his team, but so for our audio listeners, this is the Wolves Ipswich fight. Fight in
Yeah.
inverted
It's not a
commas at the
fight.
end of
That's
the
not a
game.
fight. What's
Is it fracas?
happened?
Would you give it fracas?
No,
status?
that's not even a fracas.
It
Brouhaha?
was wasn't even not fisticuffs. It was
Yeah. Push and
posturing.
shove. Hmm.
Oh, okay, now what it does lead to though is have a look at this combination celebration. Shirt off, knee
Yep.
slide,
Knee slide.
perfectly timed jumped over the advertising hoardings, and then giving it large to the
And the
supporters.
fist bumps.
That's
And then cut
a
straight to Wolves
yeah.
fighting with everyone.
Matthias Kundigan as Specsavers.
That is how you do it. I'd like to now finish with how you don't do the celebration where you jump the hoarding. This is from FC Zurich. And then here we go. This is a late penalty in front of a sort of a Saudi Pro League crowd. He scores the penalty. Here he goes over the advertising hoarding and into the moat. See you later. Look at his teammates just looking like he's a fish. Look at that. Oh, that is not how you do it. All right, gentlemen. YouTube, you can see us on YouTube. You can listen to us here. You can listen to us at Spotify. A22, I am available. And in closing, gentlemen, how would you like to leave us today?
I just want to know if, because we've done, is this our third or fourth episode? Third episode. Have we reached status where over Christmas we can get really lazy and do a best of?
I'm happy to tell you that our download figures are absolutely on par with the Saudi Pro League. We are working our way to National League level of attendance here
We're
at
back
Friday.
next
Footy.
week. Is that what you're saying? We're back next week.
There
I
we
can't
go.
wait for it.
You two can do what you want, but I'll be sitting here banging on to myself. I'll be probably working for A22. All right, excellent work. Are you going to any games, James?
I
Yes.
am. I was just
Where
going
you
to bring it
going?
up. So I was at Arsenal Everton at the weekend, which is a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah.
I am
What
going
are
to
Everton
the
like
Emirates.
live? Because to watch them on television
Dreadful.
is disgusting.
Dreadful. They didn't have a shot on target.
They're
and they
disgusting.
They didn't look like having a shot on target in that game as well. So, but yeah,
They
it
were celebrating so hard at the end of that game.
it was-
So
no,
hard.
Good on him.
utter woke nonsense, I believe, is
Yes.
the Sean Dyche moniker. So I'm actually going to the Emirates again tonight. Arsenal Palace in the League Cup.
Can you make
which should be
a
good.
short video and put it on YouTube? That's what people
Yeah.
do. Can you
Yeah.
talk to a fan and go crazy? That's what Arsenal fan TV do. Let's just make it. Who are you going with?
Go find them.
Going with my brother this evening,
Well,
my younger brother.
just pretend he's a fan. Just pretend, go, mate, can
Yeah.
you go off for a minute? And then just
Actually,
we'll post it.
Here's an
Yeah.
idea. Go to your, I don't know if you have a favourite one around the ground. Go to your favourite chippy and just give us a report from your favourite.
That's what we're talking
that's the
about.
fan
Yeah.
experience. At an
And
Yeah,
then
fine.
WhatsApp me the video. I will put it on my Hinge, YouTube, and that's what we want. Can you do that, please, James? You're actually going to football matches.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And what about you,
Do you know what
Peacock?
is nice? Very
What's
quickly,
that?
what is so nice, and it will be even better this evening. When I walked to the ground on Saturday, it was obviously it's winter here, so it's cold at the moment, it's blustery, but it was so nice going to a couple of pubs before and just rekindling all those, awakening all the senses that I used to have when I used to go to football matches here. So you walk down the street and there's burger vans everywhere, that smell of burger vans, people coming out of pubs, dodging horse shit on the road, all those smells, like everything.
Tobacco.
Listen to every conversation you walk past. Yeah, it's just people talking about football and people talking about the game. and
Swearing
it's brilliant.
profusely.
That's a great thing. And I know that
The smell of football.
the smell of football, I know that A22 have got some of the finest horses you've ever seen, just ready to shit out another proposal. All right, have a great time, and we look forward to you better do that report,
Yeah.
James.
Chip here.
Chippy.
Oh, we're doing accents?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was available. Well, I've got a number I'd like to try off air before next week's episode. All right,
Brilliant.
we'll see you then.
See you guys.
Ciao.